Hey, what's up? This is FSX23. So today I was feeling kind of lazy. I was originally planning to make a big video about Trayvon Martin, but it involved a lot of edits and I didn't really feel like it. So a few days ago, I was talking to this other atheist over a Google Hangouts chat. It wasn't anything that was recorded, it was just us talking. And he mentioned an apologist he was thinking of having a Google Hangout with, possibly including me in it. And this guy's name is Jude 3 Defense. Not the atheist, the apologist we were looking to talk to. So I went and checked out this guy's channel, and I found this video where I think he is in this clip. I'm not quite sure if he's taking a clip of someone else, but there's like a little caption before, and it sounds like this is this guy in this clip. So I was going to be really lazy, and I was just going to post that clip. But after watching it while I was, getting ready to upload it, this thing is so funny, I just have to interrupt it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and this clip, he's talking about atheist hypocrisy. So let's go ahead and listen to this clip. It's pretty entertaining.
To go through my two slides that I have presented a long time ago that I put together. And it is just on the subject of atheist hypocrisy. Okay? For instance, they will talk about Christians as having a God of the gaps. And they don't take into consideration, into account, that they also have a God of the gaps, and they misunderstand the God of the gaps in the Christian sense. And here's how it goes. First off, when we plug in God as an explanation for something we don't fully understand in the natural world and order, this is not a dismissal out of laziness, okay? This discusses the who part that is behind the phenomenon, and not the how part of what is going on physically.
Did you just admit that you are plugging God in for the things in the natural world you do not understand, and you think you somehow are not using an argument from ignorance? I think you need to look up the term argument from ignorance. You have almost literally defined it just there. And atheists are not using God of the gaps as well. Atheists don't believe in gods. So you might also want to go and look up what an atheist is. An atheist is a person who does not believe a God exists. Therefore, we are not using a God in any way.
And on the same grounds as this critique, the atheist has a God of the gaps also by saying we don't know how it happened, but scientists will figure it out one day, which is naturalism of the gaps. The difference between us and them is that they use it to prop up their philosophy so they can hang on to their ideas about evolution, etc., because they're priests, aka scientists of the day, because they're different from other scientists in times past or even current who have a different philosophy and authority. Their priests say it happened. That's why they accept it, ultimately.
No, the difference is we do not claim to know things without evidence, and you do claim to know things without evidence. Our scientists aren't priests. Things aren't true because the scientist says so. We base things on evidence. And we know some things and we don't know other things, and we have many things we know to certain degrees of certainty. But you aren't satisfied with that. You want to have these absolute answers even if they're not available to you. So you're just going to latch on to your admittedly God of the gaps argument.
On that authority. And one day they will be able to explain it. While we Christians do not rely upon science to prove God, He gives foundation for science, making it reasonable to utilize and trust in the first place, okay?
So on the one hand, science is inaccurate because they claim to not know anything about certain issues. And on the other hand, well, science is reliable because God is its foundation. So I don't know how you're explaining this contradiction in your reasoning, but just go for it.
Also, to say God did it is true.
No, it's not.
How He did it is another question entirely.
Yeah, it's the most important question.
He spoke it into existence. Perhaps we may figure out that sound may create things.
All right, now get ready for it. You're about to hear one of the craziest fucking creationist arguments I have ever heard.
Who knows in the future what we may figure out about sound? I mean, I've seen a video recently that my niece posted on Facebook with these different frequencies, and they put salt on this vibrating plate, at different frequencies, and it produced different shapes. It was pretty crazy, amazing. And so maybe there's something behind sound.
No.
I don't know, and I've heard other times where people say the explanation for how the pyramids got put into place, because even us with our technology of cranes and other things, we don't know how they put the pyramids into place with those massive, I don't know how many tons the stones were. They said that they were able to use sound waves to lift the stones. To me, it doesn't make sense. But a lot of things, this computer that I'm using right now doesn't make sense.
You've yet to say a single fucking thing that makes any sense.
Number two, atheists nowadays are changing their tune and saying that evolution is not by chance. Yet they don't believe in a designer for this design in the world. They only believe in some sort of impersonal designer, so long as it's not God, right? Now, let's make clear that according to random chance, science is impossible, in fact foolish, as you'd expect things not to respond like they did in the past.
Atheism has nothing to do with evolution, but like always, Christians always seem to go there, and the theory of evolution has never included a impersonal designer. There's no designer, and it's not based on random chance. And I'm not going to explain evolution to you right now because you obviously have no freaking clue. But you can check my channel and you can look at my evolution videos. And if you can find the random designer anywhere in any of my videos, I will eat my own hat.
And this is why they no longer call it random, you see. Evolutionists say biology is not a guided process. But I want to know how the body can take in nutrients and know what to do with it. I mean, I injured my shoulder, but my body knows when to stop building on cartilage if it's done repairing. I take a lot of supplements to help repair that, collagen and gelatin and so forth. It knows when to stop building on cartilage if it's done repairing.
Yeah, your body knows when to stop growing. Well, tell that to people with cancer. And I guess we're back to the arguments from ignorance.
And the rest of the surplus is just excreted. The design blueprint is there. And this is just one of the tens of thousands of examples I can give within human biology.
Well, with examples like that, I'm glad you kept it to one.
Next, they again change their tune, atheists do, and say that they are not strict materialists when shown the fallaciousness of materialism. And then, now accepting immaterial realities, things that are not material, they reject God on the basis that he cannot be perceived by the five senses. Scratch my head on that one. That's inconsistent. That is hypocrisy, folks.
Immaterial realities. So what atheists are accepting immaterial realities? I think by definition, an immaterial reality doesn't exist. You're making no fucking sense.
They reject other world dimensions outside of scientific parameters, like heaven and hell, yet they believe in multiverses, some of them, a lot of them do, which are supposedly outside our dimension that operate on different governing laws. And as a side note, keep in mind that some theologians suggest the possibility that heaven and hell are just different locations in the physical universe. I don't know if there's any merit to that, but that's just something to consider in addition.
I can't keep up with the contradictions. He's saying that atheists, quote, quote, even though this is an atheist thing, but whatever. Atheists are claiming that it's possible for other universes to exist out there, which, who knows, there could be. There's really no direct evidence for that. So that's not an atheist thing. Yet, a second later, he's like, well, maybe God and heaven and hell are in those other dimensions. So on the one hand, that's ridiculous. On the other hand, he thinks that might be a scientific proof for his God.
They also, atheists, say it is okay to kill an unborn baby in early development. Not all, but I would say probably 90% of them. In early development because it's just a collection of cells.
How much does he charge to pierce ears?
I don't know.
A buccaneer.
A buccaneer, oh. Ba-dum-bum. So, they say it's just a collection of cells. Yet from a materialistic standpoint, we are all nothing more than just a collection of cells, just merely more in number.
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
And they say it is wrong to kill them, adults. Next, they invoke a scientifically inaccessible and totally unknowable prior universe, which is eternal, as a material cause of the one that we now live in, yet they object to God because it is absurd to think of an eternal being.
Oh, this is an easy one to answer. No, we don't.
Hey, what's up?
Number 7, I'm going down the list here. There's many different ways that are hypocritical, and this is just scratching the surface. They applaud things they condemn in others so long as it's someone who agrees with them and their worldview. They claim morals are not absolute, yet act as if they are. They say if man needed to be created, then we must regress and ask who made God. Their line of reasoning comes back on them, though, because by their presupposition, God does not exist. And if not, then we made God. Well, if this regression is necessary, I can then ask him that if man is the one who made God, then who made man?
The existence of man isn't a first cause argument, which I think you were trying to argue the first cause argument without actually explaining the first cause argument. And you just mentioned some parts in the middle and thought you were making sense. But you're not making any sense.
Remember, evolution is not a cause, but rather a false conclusion of observations. If it were a cause, we could ask who or what made evolution start in this domino succession causal chain, and who or what defined how this chain operates, I want to know also. To which they may respond, it's a part of everything. Therefore, everything produced more evolution. Well, this causes us to end up where we started, concluding that everything created everything, as the initial question is who or what made everything, including man. So the only two options on the table are agent causation or event causation, agent causation or self-creation. Well, God created everything is the only efficient, I would say, and plausible explanation. Teleology, the fancy word for purpose, are revealed in the inner workings of the cosmos. Genetic language in DNA is just one example of this.
This guy is giving me flashbacks of high school AP psychology where they're talking about word salad and schizophrenics and not making any goddamn sense to anybody but themselves.
One more point, or two. They deny miracles yet have their own, the existence existing, self-creation or eternal matter and energy. So they have their own miracles, yet they deny others in the Bible.
Existing isn't a miracle. Existing is existing because it exists. That's a miracle.
And lastly, people like Dawkins have said that the universe is highly improbable due to its complexity, and if God created it, he must be more complex and therefore less probable to exist. That's a quotation. And I don't remember where I heard this, but an apologist responds to this by saying, okay, but by what logic must we accept that one highly improbable entity exists, the universe that is, while another highly improbable entity, God, does not exist? So these people end up getting their wires crossed, arguing causes and effects, entangling physics with metaphysics. This is special pleading and begging the question. They assume that no spiritual realm exists, but since cause and effect is only proven for the natural world, we can no longer insist that cause and effect are relevant when it comes to the origin of a spiritual entity like God. Therefore, God does not have to have a cause. He is the ultimate uncaused cause, a being whom no one made. To ask this question, who made God, is to utter a nonsense question, like asking, how long is a piece of string? It is nonsense because it fails to define which piece of string we are dealing with. If the word God is left undefined, we have the same issue, the same problem, you see. When God is defined as he has revealed himself, on the other hand, the uncreated creator of all that was created, it becomes clear how stupid it is to ask who created the uncreated God. And with that, that's about 11 different hypocritical things about atheism. Like I said, there's much more, but that's all I have down for the little monologue session.